Hello everybody, welcome to the Connect Through Cooking series, which is a part of the Wellness Wishes for the Holidays. My name is Casey McLean and I am the sous chef here at Arkansas Children's Hospital. And you know, Thanksgiving is coming up, so today I want to show you how to make an apple cranberry pie. I wanted to do something that's out of the norm because we're all used to our pecan pies, sweet potato pies, pumpkin pie. So I wanted to do an apple cranberry pie, which is just as tasty as your traditional Thanksgiving pie. I chose to use cranberries because it is, of course, a superfood. It's November, so you can't have November without cranberries. And it's a superfood because of its antioxidants, which helps to retain the cells in your body and keep it, up and running and healthy. So we're gonna start by setting our pie dough, which is frozen, to come up to room temperature. This is so we can roll the dough for the covering, the top of the pie. So I want to start by showing you how I cut my apples, but first let me tell you all my ingredients. I have 3/4 of a cup of monk fruit sugar. Monk fruit is an actual fruit. It is originated in China. It's a grape. It's a vine fruit, so it's kind of like a grape, looks like a grape. It's very sweet. It's good for sugar substitute. So if you're diabetic or on a low sugar diet, you can utilize your monk fruit sugar. Also, you can use Splenda or stevia or Truvia. So I have 3/4 of a cup of monk fruit sugar and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon powder. We're going to, in a bowl, combine our sugar and cinnamon, of course, to make cinnamon sugar for our already diced apples. Now you want to either toss or use a spoon or spatula to mix your cinnamon and sugar. Make sure it's evenly distributed. Before I toss my diced apples, I want to show you how I dice the apples. I know at home you don't usually use a cut glove, but it's important. It can prevent kitchen injuries. So you want to cut the base off of your apples so it can stand on your cutting board. And do the same to the top, and then you can use a veggie peeler or you can use a chef knife or paring knife. So I'm going to use a chef knife today. You want to tuck your fingers back so you don't cut your fingertips. Use your knuckle as a guide and just carefully peel your apple. Be careful not to dig too deep. And for this recipe, I am using 4 apples each. Now, you got to remember that your apple has a core, which is the hard inside, the center. So you want to cut your sides not too close to the center because that's where the core is. Like so. Or cut your left side and your right side. So you'll have 2 long sides and 2 short sides. And Then you want to dice it. So you're going to make long strips through your pieces and then go the opposite direction to slice. And I'm going to use one of these apples because I've already pre-sliced 3. Remember, the recipe calls for 4. Okay, and you might have noticed that my pre-sliced apples, I soaked it in water, and that's to prevent the oxidation, which is pretty much your apples getting brown when it's exposed to air. You can soak it in water, or water and lime juice or lemon juice, so an acid will reduce the speed of oxidation. So into my 3/4 cup of sugar and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, I'm going to drain my apples and then add it to my cinnamon sugar mix and then toss. All right, so now that my apple is in the bowl, my cinnamon sugar, you can use a spoon or you can just toss it in your bowl. So in order for you to do a successful tossing, you need a wide bowl instead of a deep bowl, so you have surface space to toss. Make sure that your apples are completely coated with your cinnamon sugar. And then after which we're going to add a cup of cranberries. So into the bowl, my cranberries go. You can use fresh cranberries, you can use frozen cranberries, you can use dried cranberries. The only drawback with dried cranberries, if you're trying to keep your dish healthy, it has a higher sugar content. So now that my cranberries and apples are mixed together, I'm gonna go ahead and pour it into my unbaked pie shell. Pie shells are available in the grocery store, readily available. So you can buy them pre-made or you can make them yourself. If you're on, say, a low-fat diet, you can use, instead of butter, vegetable shortening. Or if you're vegan, you can use vegetable shortening. So we're gonna pour our mixture directly into our unbaked pie shell. And the purpose of doing this video is I want to make sure that my recipe, you can do it at home with your relative, whether it be your aunt, grandma, your toddler. It's so easy, a toddler can make it. So whether virtually, which is our life now, or in person. So far your pie should look like this. I am going to add or drop some butter, 2 tablespoons of butter onto the top, so it adds flavor. You can use margarine, you can use vegetable oil spread, depending on your diet. So I left my butter in the cooler so it stays solidified. And just want to place your butter evenly onto your pie. So this is only 2 tablespoons of butter. This is all you need for your recipe. So to recap, we started with 4 each apples. You can use, I use Granny Smith apple. You can use whatever apple you would like to. So 4 apples each, 3/4 of a cup of sugar, monk fruit sugar. Like I said, you can use whatever sugar you'd like to. And a cup of cranberries. You can use frozen cranberries, fresh cranberries, dried cranberries. And we just added our butter. So on top of this, I am about to roll out another pie shell, which will be the cover or top of our pie. Now onto your surface, you want to add a little bit of flour just so your pie dough doesn't stick to your surface or your rolling pin. And we're going to remove the pie shell from its container. And then this is a 9-inch pie shell. We roll it to about a 10.5 inches, just so you have enough surface space or enough space for the surface of your pie. Don't forget your little bit of flour on top. So all we need is an extra inch for the surface of our pie. If you don't have a rolling pin at home, you can use a tall water bottle. And so it is important that we make like vents in our pie so while it's cooking, the steam can escape. You can use a cookie cutter. You can use a knife. You can use the top to a bottle, whatever you can find. So because it's fall, I'm gonna freehand and cut out some leaves, some autumn leaves. Like I said, you can use your cookie cutter or whatever mold-like equipment you have. So our dough is ready for the top of our pie. I'm gonna flip it since I have less flour on the bottom. Actually, I have less flour on top. So all you're doing is pretty much covering the pie. Make sure you're using both hands because you don't want your dough to tear. So you just cover it. You can use water so the edges will seal properly, or you can press down on it, or you can pinch your sides. So you can press down, or you can pinch. And then since we don't want this excess dough, we're gonna use a sharp part of our paring knife And just trim your edges, make it look neat. Or if you want a rustic look, you can tear too. So these are my vents. The steam will escape, won't get trapped underneath. And I'm gonna use the cuts from my vent and make some leaves. And all I'm doing is putting slots on the sides. So then in order for the leaves to stick to your pie, I'm gonna slightly dip my finger in a little bit of water. Barely dip your finger, we don't want excess water. And decorate your pie however way you want to. In between the spaces or on one side. Or you don't have to do this step, it's just for aesthetic purposes and little waste. And it looks like a pie, but we have one more step. We want our pie to be nice and golden brown and beautiful and presentable. So I'm gonna brush what we call an egg wash onto the pie. So an egg wash is any mix of whole eggs with either water or milk or half and half. And what it does is gives you a nice finish. Your pastry product will be nice and golden brown and crispy and looking good. You don't want to put excess egg wash. You don't want your pie to taste eggy and raw. So if you see that certain spots on your pies have like little settlements of your egg wash, go ahead and brush it out if possible. So once you're done polishing pretty much your pie, we're gonna bake this in the oven at a temperature of 350 degrees for 35 minutes. Remember to clean as you go, so you don't have a lot of cleaning to do at the end of your cooking. And your pie should look something like this. You can serve your pie with maple syrup, applesauce, whipped cream, caramel, chocolate syrup, chocolate sauce, whatever accompaniment you like to eat. Today I have a gingered whipped cream, and what I did was I took powdered sugar and a cup of heavy cream, 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar, and a teaspoon of grounded or finely chopped fresh ginger. You can use a hand mixer or a standing mixer with a whip attachment, or you can use your whip and old school it and do it manually. So this is a gingered whipped cream, which we will serve with our apple pie. So, like I said before, this is a non-traditional Thanksgiving pie. You can try it next Thursday, Thanksgiving Day. It's very simple, very easy. You can execute this online, virtually with your family members, in person. Your 5-year-old can help you with this recipe. Also, it's only 180 calories, so you cannot beat that at all. Yeah, so I hope somebody will make this pie this year, a little twist to 2020 Thanksgiving. And stay safe and healthy, and thank you for watching.